Hi guys, I still feel really awkward talking to the camera if it's not like a story time or if it's not like a live stream. I don't know what it is. I'm like totally not used to just freestyling like long ass videos when it's not on a cell phone, when I can like stare at myself and like just have like a chill angle or like pause, play, right? Okay. So I'm like still awkward. I a little bit ago on my live was talking to a couple girls and I got on the topic of OnlyFans. I feel like there's so much that I have to say about OnlyFans, and I have a lot of takes on that industry. I have a lot of opinions, and they're quite positive for the most part, which is to controversy. I know a lot of people believe that like the SW industry is not empowering whatsoever, and that it's like it goes completely against women and feminism, and I do agree on a decent amount of that kind of stuff, but I just want to say that sex work is, in my opinion, sometimes work of survival. I don't think that just taking away things like fixes an issue. The issue behind sex work is deeper than pulling out a camera and playing with your boobs. It goes deeper than that. There's like people out there that are messed up in their own certain way, men out there that look for that kind of content, but it's coming from a deeper place. And I feel like when you say like when you take it out on the workers and focus on that, like, or when you criticize women for setting us back, if we can be set simply by turning and profiting off of what men are already doing, whether we sell it or not, if that's setting us back, then like we're already all the way back. Like that's my take on it. And as I do think there should be more regulations, there should be more awareness, right? I speak angrily about things like the Bop House, and that's awkward because some of the girls from the Bop Houses have liked my content before on TikTok or engaged with my videos before, so it feels awkward because I'm in this place of like, I'm sure deep down they're sweet girls, but there is something sinister about the image of the Bop House and how it affects young women and maturing minds. I feel like the look of the Bop House is this glamorization of, oh, all you have to do is sign up and get in touch with our managers, come be a part of this, look how fun it looks. And I have my own theories on it, and you know what, I always feel like, oh, if I go and I share these theories, I feel like I would probably be laughed at and have like girls that maybe are in the Bop House be like, oh my god, this girl has no idea what she's talking about. And it's like, I feel like I'd get made fun of. But my take on the Bop House is I like I said, I feel like something more sinister is going on. You have all these girls, a couple of them look very young. Most of them look very young, and they're putting themselves out there on a pedestal, like in this beautiful home with all these beautiful girls having fun. They're kind of portraying this sleepover, like all I have to do is post in a bikini and look how much I make a month, and it's like millions of dollars. Or it's like they do a really great deed, like donate $1 million to something, and it's like all I do is just post selfies. And it definitely gives this rep to people out there that it's like, like I could do this when I'm 18, you know? Like that's like the worst part. Like it's young women looking at this being like, oh, I can do this when I'm 18 years old. So that's what I hate. I hate that young women are looking up to this as like a plan, like, oh, I want to be like that, because being like that's not very easy. I feel like there's something a lot more serious going on behind the scenes. I feel like there are men behind it. I feel like there's men behind it, and I feel like they're pulling the strings, and I feel like there's this situation where they show that to the young women, and young women want to join and then get in touch with male managers and get signed onto contracts that they have to pay their way out of, or post themselves promiscuously and break their own boundaries of what they would like to put out there when they sign up. And the issue is, you look at the Bop House and they're just posting bikini pictures. You can go and subscribe and you can see, oh, there's not that much nudity on here. Like, I want to do this too, but you're not gonna be doing the same thing as those girls, you know? Those are the head girls. They're in the spotlight. Honestly, the publicity is the only reason why they're getting so many subscriptions, you know? Like, sadly, if you, as a normal human being, want to get on the same level of money, you're going to have to completely exploit yourself. Like, seriously. Sometimes in order to make a lot of money on OnlyFans, you have to exploit yourself. And I do OnlyFans. I've been doing OnlyFans for 3 years, and I have never had to exploit myself. But because of that, I've only made enough to live off of OnlyFans. And that's why I wanted to make this video of my experience with OnlyFans as a normal person. When women ask me about starting an OnlyFans or getting into that industry, I always give like a sheer warning, but realistically, I don't believe that people just shouldn't do it, especially if it's somebody who's like, I really need money. I'm in a horrid situation, like if they're being abused or something. Because I know for me, I was in a very abusive situation, and I actually lived in the middle of nowhere with no car, with no one to teach me how to drive. My mom didn't even have a car. I was working 2 jobs and spending more money on Ubers than I was making at work, because they would give me these like 4-hour shifts because I was a minor, and it was just a mess. And I was like counting down the days like until I could, I don't know, maybe go start being a stripper. Like, that's where I was at. And I blew up on TikTok. I blew up on TikTok when I was 17 years old. I got like 19, maybe like 14 million views of like me talking about my waist and how big my hips are and why like pants don't fit properly. And it sounds like more vulgar than it actually was. It was quite a simple video of me just kind of pointing out like women anatomy, like, oh, why don't our pants work or fit for our own bodies, you know? And it reached the horny side of TikTok, and I blew up. I got like 200,000 followers. I turned 18, and my home life was getting like less and less sturdy. I'm talking like knives being stabbed into walls and stuff, because the person I was living with was so mentally deranged from alcoholism that I, on a whim, signed up for that. And I was normal, okay? I did have 200,000 followers. Even then, I wasn't making great money. I was making like $3K a month. But maybe I wasn't working as hard as I should have, or maybe I wasn't putting in as much effort. But just let that be like a little bit of an example. Okay, and I didn't have my skills that I do now. My prices have gone up a ton. I was young and I was trying to just get out. $3,000 a month was a lot to me when I was 18. So the start of OnlyFans, it was so like motivating and empowering. Yeah. Which is what they tell you, you know? Like, you hear that it's empowering from some women. And that's what I'm going to tell you. It is empowering at some point. You can feel empowered. You can. Except that empowerment does not last long. And I'll get into that. I made good money. I saved up like $14,000 and I got kicked out. So I was just sitting, trying to kill time, trying to like play it cool, not poke the bear I was living with, and save up as much as I could, because I lived in SoCal, which the cheapest 1-bedroom was $2,000. So I'm like, how am I gonna do this? So anyways, I get kicked out. I move into a bedroom without a wall that's like connected to some girl's living room. And that was my start. And this girl never worked. So I jumped in, and then my TikTok got deleted. So that's what I was promoting with, and I was at the point where I was making enough to live, and that was it. Like, I need to mention to you guys, OnlyFans takes, I think it's 15% cut. Hey Siri. So every single sale that you make on OnlyFans, they will take 20%. At the end of the year, when you go around and you pay taxes, you will pay 15%. So you are losing 35% of what you make. So I was making great money, and then I was just losing it all. Like, I was losing 35%. That's like almost half. That's 15% away from being half of what you make. So that is already one of the like total downsides that I wish that I was totally ready for. So I could have done like one of the other sides, because apparently there's a bunch of other ones, but I was like, I don't believe that there's going to be a lot of guys that use that. So I'd rather just go with the most mainstream one, so people know what they're getting into, what they're signing up for. They already have an account. They feel more motivated. Their card's already on it. You know, I wanted it to be easy to rack in those subscriptions. That's what I did. And so I want to tell you guys, that aspect of it, you're almost losing half of what you make anyways. Your $30 video, you're only going to make 65% of that. Okay? No bueno. And it's like anything else, that wouldn't be that bad, but it's like I'm putting my butthole on the internet. I don't want to lose so much of what I'm making. So that was one of the downsides, but you know, we live. And then as time went on, that empowerment started to get stripped from me. My like traumas were catching up. Like I was starting to struggle with anxiety. As a lot of you guys know who do or would ever watch my YouTube, I got sick as hell from mold poisoning. I lived in a house that had a leak of 3 years. The house flooded completely. And that got neglected for 8 months. And it was just rotting in the wood, the floorboards, and I was slowly getting so fatigued and sick that I was almost dying. So I blew through my savings to pay rent because I couldn't work anymore. I couldn't even get up. I couldn't even do my makeup and hair. I was having these panic attacks. It was awful. So I got really sick. And not to mention just that, but as time went on, I was slowly getting sick, and like I was getting depressed. I was having a lot of bad stuff in my life going on, and then at the end of the day I would have to get on TikTok because I had a new TikTok with like 50,000 followers, and I would have to talk to these men. And it's great and all. I would have my like 500 viewers, and I'd be having like check in here and there to see like if I'm getting any subscriptions. I'd be making like $100 plus a night like off of these lives, and I would only be live for like a couple hours, so that's better than like a normal job. But at some extent it was like I didn't have a lot going on in my life, and so maybe if you have a lot more going on in your life you wouldn't have such a bad experience, but there was something so depressing about it. There was something so depressing and lonely about what I was doing. Nobody else around me was doing the same thing. If like I was talking or dating somebody and it fell through, it would feel even heavier because like then I would have to go and talk to men that didn't have any respect for me. And that's the taxing part of it. That's almost like it's more taxing than the tax they actually take from you, because it just started to weigh heavy on me. And then my cat died. And then it was like I couldn't even do work anymore. And then I got a boyfriend, and he started treating me really, really badly while I was still in that industry. And so it all just built up. When you're doing something like that, it doesn't feel vulgar or bad until you start having a lot of bad go on in your life, and then you start to realize like those, because the men don't actually care about you, and I promise they can act like they care, and you might believe it at first when you're doing OnlyFans, etc., but there is going to always be a part of you deep down that knows those men do not care about you. They don't. And that's why it's kind of like a mutual trade. You give me money, you get to enjoy how pretty I am, and I don't require anything else. You don't need to emotionally invest in me. I'm just here for your money. And so even my idea of, oh, I'm here for your money was becoming like this darkness, and even my darkness about the idea of that was affecting the way that I felt. And I still do OnlyFans, so I'm kind of speaking about this vaguely, but I'm not doing it the way I used to. I have loyal customers that I make content for the same customers every single month, and I make every single month enough to pay my rent. So I have this like consistency going on. I would still love to get out of it because there's still a lot of stressors with that type of industry, like getting shadow banned and having your posts not do well anymore, and you're kind of just having to like, I'm very lucky that I have people that are like devoted subscribers, right? Because if that kind of stuff happens to you when you're just getting started and you're dependent on this, you're practically screwed. So also there's that aspect of like, this is the sucky part that you don't really want to get too dependent on it, because that's when you start seeing those girls exploiting themselves. Those are usually the women that are very dependent on it, and maybe they've been in a position where it's like, okay, business is going down. What can I do? Like literally when you see like a really raunchy ass video, it's kind of like, is rent due soon? Because like I know how it is. I know how that stuff is. Now, I feel like when people come on the internet and they use the idea of, oh, everything you put out there is permanent, it's like, that's not gonna make anybody not do that. Like, duh, yeah, it's permanent, duh. Like, do you think people are stupid? People know that it's permanent. That's not stopping anybody, right? It's like, shit, sucks, I need money. So I can't stand that being the warning of it all, because like I know how it feels when people hit you with that shit and it's like, girl, like, yeah, I bills, you know? So that's not even like an effective way of just putting things into perspective. My best way of putting it into perspective is there's going to be years down the line where you feel unappreciated and burnt out and kind of lost. And you might even lose yourself a little bit because it becomes a survival thing, especially if you're a normal person. Unless you're out there blowing up on social media and exploiting yourself to do so, or you're just fascinatingly gorgeous. It's hard when you're just like a normal person like me. It's been hard to like always get by with it. It's not as glamorous as it seems, and that's just always my warning. Although I will always be like, there is positives and there is hope that you could do like really, really well. My throat is so sore, you guys. So yeah, you guys, that is kind of my take on OnlyFans. This is probably going to be like a little bit of a short video. I think that this is just kind of a nice video to watch if you're thinking about getting into it and you just need to hear like a little something, or if you just wanted to hear me rant. And my boyfriend's calling me. Hey, bang.
Oh, you look so beautiful, eh?
Okay, my boyfriend called me, so I kind of forgot how far I was into saying goodbye. This was a really short video, and I really do just hope that it helps somebody out who just wanted to hear some sort of advice or take or experience. This is a little bit of mine. It's obviously not like the deepest dive, but yeah, I'm about to go shoot another video and then like edit them both and then choose which one I like better, because I'm wearing the same thing. Or should I just change the everything and record it in a different outfit? I literally might do that because your girl has so much energy and it's like early. I've already done everything I need to do. I'm about to go film like a little like shopping haul. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and thanks for even like watching my video. It's sweet that anybody watches my videos, because I would love to start coming over here and talking over here. It's more my style rather than TikTok, and I feel like too many people I know follow me on TikTok. I feel really awkward and embarrassed and judged. Okay, I love you guys.